I've been driving around in this thing for a couple days now, and I mean, it runs great and I don't hear any issues, anything like that, but it definitely still has a little bit of smoke at idle. I mean, it's really hard to tell sometimes, but it's definitely there, and you can smell it sometimes too. So I'm just ripping it one more time up this hill right now, and then I'm starting to suspect some sorry about that, I couldn't help myself. But yeah, I'm starting to suspect some injector nozzle like leaking. Like maybe the injector nozzle's seeping, or it's cracked or got something wrong with it. Because I'm pretty confident that the injector body itself is rebuilt correctly. I don't notice any issues that would be related to that. It's just a little bit of smoke at idle, which it just seems like the nozzle might be seeping a little bit or something like that. So I'm just ripping it up this hill right now one more time, and then I'm going to pull it apart again. So yeah, that's what I've been thinking. If you look here at this diagram, there's high pressure fuel being injected in here, and it's going up here to where the ball is. And there's always high pressure fuel being injected at the injector tip. So no matter if this whole top part here is functioning correctly, or if it's brand new or anything, if there's an issue with your injector tip, like if it's like not seating properly, or there's something in, like some dirt or something in there, or like if it's cracked or something, it could have an issue leaking, like what my truck's having an issue with right now, even if this is all brand new or functioning correctly. So that's what I'm thinking, because the high pressure fuel is coming in here and has a direct feed down here, and it also has a direct feed to here. So then when the ECU fires this injector, it sends power to these two connectors here, and it activates a magnet that pulls this little spring mechanism up, which allows this ball to come off its seat, and then the high pressure fuel can leak out through the fuel return, and then it's no longer holding this injector like arm thing up, so then the fuel can leak out past the tip, and then that would be open. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. Pull that thing out and try to test it, or look at it really closely or something, and put a known good nozzle on. Well, I just pulled that injector out real quick, and it's sitting right here. So what I'm thinking is this is always connected to the nozzle. No matter what this is all doing up here, there's a direct connection from here to here. So if I put this, like, submerged in some diesel or something, and then put some compressed air to it, maybe I can see some bubbles leaking out. But I mean, I only got like 150 psi, and this is like 25,000 psi, or like 5,000 to 7,000 psi at idle. So I don't know if that's really gonna work at all, but I'm gonna try, and I'm gonna give it a good clean and see if I can see any issues with it. You can't see anything right now, it's all dirty, but yeah, I don't know, I'm just gonna mess with it a bit, see if I can figure it out, and then if I can't see anything, I'm just gonna swap the nozzle from this one on here, put it back in, and go rip it. Well, something I just noticed, this is the leaky injector, and this is the good one. If I put compressed air into this one, into the feed port, it'll actually start to leak. Like the tip will start to get wet, and then it'll drip after a while. But this one's a known good. I've ran it in my truck for a while. I know 100% this is a good injector. This one I can hold compressed air on it for as long as I want. Like I held it in there for like a minute, and it's completely dry. It didn't leak at all. So I'm not sure if that's a very good way to test or not, because it's very low pressure compared to what these things are actually supposed to be working at. But this is a bad injector, and it leaked when I put air to it, and this is a good injector, and it didn't leak. So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna swap the tips and then put it back in. Well, just like that, I swapped the tip from that one to that one. I figure I wouldn't need to record it, because I've done it in like the last couple videos, so you can just go watch those videos if you want to know how to do that. But yeah, I was just thinking now, I'm going to put a bit of diesel in both of these. Just pour a bit in there, and then give it some air, and see if the results are switched now, or what happens. Well, this is interesting. Now that I've switched the tips, the results have switched too. So my rebuilt injector doesn't leak anymore when I apply air to it, but my good injector does now. You can see, let's just put some air into it. It's wet. You can see it's definitely wet. This one's dry. I tested it 4 times, and that one definitely gets wet when I put air in it, and this one stays dry. So I'm going to put it back in my truck, and I think we might have it figured. Well, I don't know how well I really picked it up on camera there, but I'm pretty sure that was a little crack on this injector. Well, this is the good injector with the bad tip, and I'm pretty sure there's a little crack on there, but I won't know for certain until I put this back in, and if it runs great, well then I'll know for sure that that's a crack. But I went over both of the nozzles, and I didn't see any issues on either of them except for that one spot. And I tried to wipe it off and clean it, but yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Does that look like a crack to you? I'll see if I can put a photo in here too. But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna put this back in the truck and yeah, go take it for a drive. Hopefully it's fixed. Oh, there we go, all back together. But it's super dark and super cold outside right now, so I'll wait till tomorrow before I fire it up so we can see what's going on. Well, so far so good anyways. Looks pretty good. I mean, I literally just started this thing after swapping the injector, and it's like not even smoking at all. But I did try something new by blowing the cylinder out with some compressed air before I put it back together, so hopefully it was less in there. I think the truck runs a little better. I mean, it's the same amount of power it feels like, but I just noticed in between like 1800 RPMs to 2000 RPMs where my rail pressure is set to just like start to come up really high. Normally I would hear like a little bit of a rattle when I'm driving, but I don't think I can really hear that anymore. It seems to be gone. So I'm thinking that was the nozzle leaking a little bit of fuel out, and like as the rail pressure came up, so it was like just like a little bit of combustion knock more than it should be, because that seems to be gone now, and there doesn't seem to be any smoke at all at idle. So it must be that. It must have been that cracked injector tip. So that's really interesting. Well, that's it. I've been driving around lots lately, and yeah, no issues at all. It runs great now. So it was definitely that tip. Whether that little crack that I saw is actually a crack, or if it was a different issue, I don't know. But that injector nozzle was definitely the issue. So I'm gonna keep running it like this for a while, and I'll keep you updated if anything changes. But otherwise, I'm gonna start looking into pulling the rest of them out and cleaning them all out, because I mean, why not? It doesn't cost it costs like nothing to do. And when I pulled it out for the first time, it was super dirty. I can't imagine it runs very good with a bunch of shit in there. So yeah, that'll be it for this video.